I recall when I sat on that side of the House, raising the Bougainville issue 3 times. And, with much respect to the member for Yalibu Pangian, the former Prime Minister, his approach to Bougainville was actually quite the opposite of what we see from Prime Minister Marape. And for me, I'm a little bit sad standing here after having seen the results of the referendum, because I think to myself, if we had had a more sympathetic Prime Minister earlier on, the outcome of the referendum would have been very, very different, I think. People are speaking too, feeling one kind of small Bougainvilleans. And I want to sort of draw on what Honorable Sepuka Temu has said also. Every time lo display union blo Papua New Guinea. It is a union, Mr. Speaker. Many of us were too young to understand what our forefathers were thinking at the time when they put the country together. People are coming halfway to Solia. The issue on Bougainville, have started in 1989. There are many Papua New Guineans today who don't even understand that, Mr. Speaker. Many of them don't even care, but the Bougainvilleans care, because it may affect them all. So it puts this House in a very difficult dilemma, but it actually shows us that there were many, many failures. Emi lidi kam no desla result here. One bla failure taso. Have we been come up in 1989? Maybe we shouldn't have sent the forces in, but we did. Maybe we shouldn't have abandoned them when there were those who were actually wanting to stay as part of Papua New Guinea. We withdrew. It come time you signing agreement, we were supposed to, Papua New Guinea government was supposed to show that miplay tok sorena, miplay one bell na like, sing out in Pikini come back. No kat you pusin Pikini go long way more. So, as they say in English, maybe the horse has bolted, Mr. Speaker, and take off finish. There were many opportunities where we could have fixed this. So I want to recognize, there are many people that did a lot of work throughout the years on both sides, and we recognize them, but I have seen a change in the approach with this Prime Minister. And I think on behalf of the people of Isipik, it's only appropriate that I thank him for his efforts and his personal attention to this very vital issue. Because whether we like it or not, the calls for autonomy, the calls for justice, the calls for fairness, they are getting louder, Mr. Speaker. Even just recently, we've seen in court cases, the public is screaming for justice. Despla issue blow justice, na despla issue blow fairness. These are human requirements, Mr. Speaker. I mean, sing out blow people blow Bougainville so let me sing out blow ngogara Papua New Guineans na. It is the call of people from all over the world. It's a human trait. The human being wants to be treated fairly. The human being wants justice, Mr. Speaker. And our Constitution, if you look at the preamble, it recognizes all of these things. Yet you may not say biani, Mr. Speaker. You may write him all nice pla tok-tok iguran lo pepata, so biani mem nogat. Nice pla peace agreement I come up, tok-tok nice, biani mem nogat. We lack the ability to compel ourselves to do the right thing, Mr. Speaker. We cannot deny that there were no checks and balances time Kanublo Bougainville go nakapsay. Because it was unbalanced. Even now, our country is precariously sitting on the brink. I mean, unbalanced na stop. In the last government, and I see elements of it in our government, Mr. Speaker. One member emba come emba sing out lokisim something go lilik district blongem. And because that member emi man lo fighting table emi got political value, the government will accede to his request. Never mind the greater community. Na inogat one blood check na balance is stop lo stop him just la member lo kisim. What is something I'm liking? We have seen that time and time again. And when you are on that side, you'll complain about it. When you are on this side, you keep quiet. The arguments over resources again. Justice and fairness for our people, Mr. Speaker. I understand that, on our side, Mipla now disadvantaging more line law opposition. Mipla katim DSIP blongol, Mr. Speaker. We use these financial resources to play games with each other, not recognizing that the real people who are hating, emo line is taloples. You mean like bagrabi mo member lo hiat sol true you mean bagrabi mo line lo plus. Now so long as we continue to play those sorts of games to show trome blame you go have shoot stone you go come na you mean make him lo here. There is a group of people that continue to suffer, those that sit outside this house, Mr. Speaker. There needs to be a greater level of maturity amongst our leaders to raise their vision above. In 2009, as part of the Vision 2050 work, Mr. Speaker, we proposed a bicameral house. It wasn't entertained. In that bicameral house, we proposed a Senate-type arrangement where the regional MPs would sit there, Mr. Speaker. Also, we proposed special seats for women. They would also sit in the upper house, Mr. Speaker. That full proposal, the late Sir Barry Holloway na team blonge moli right him, must collect him dust sample haplo waiganista. It is a very good proposal. It proposes a restructure and it sets in place the checks and balances that this country has not had in 45 years. If we had good checks and balances, the issue of Bougainville wouldn't have gone as far as it had. No got check na balance. I mean, sinalo like lo Prime Minister, one man. Time you Mr. Kam na vote na making Prime Minister lo here, yeah. Prime Minister am come up dictator. A democratically elected dictator. We cannot pin the hopes of an entire country on the goodness of one man. We need a system that ensures that we get a fair hearing regardless of who is the Prime Minister. We need that, Mr. Speaker. Sabas nogat. Bougainville, first one law about now. Mark my words, other provinces will want to walk. It's not just about the Bougainvilleans and their injustice. It's about the injustice that every Papua New Guinean feels. And we need to fix that. The Bougainvilleans, I'm sure all those in the thinking, how by me run him? Country blame me. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? They didn't even think about that. They were only concerned that they were unfairly treated. The Entasol, Belhat now working work here. And that anger, that resentment is creeping upwards in many parts of our country, Mr. Speaker. And this House needs to do something about it.